Hello and welcome to another edition of Charch Chat. Thanks for joining us here at Open Sports. I'm Paul Charch from LeagueSafe.com. Today's the time of the week when we start looking at some of the free agents available on the waiver wire and who might make sense for your team. I've got one wide receiver and two running backs for you to percolate on. Guys, and two of these three are definitely available in your league and one maybe. Let's start at the wide receiver position with Jabbar Gaffney. Jabbar Gaffney was one of my favorite sleepers coming into the season. Loved him. Really thought that with Tom Brady there, and who thought he wouldn't be there, that Moss was going to get a lot of double and triple teams, and then, Brady, smart enough to look elsewhere, would end up finding Gaffney, and that he'd be a really good spot starter if you're a fantasy team. But as it turned out, of course, Brady went down, and it took Castle really half a season to get his feet under him. But now now that Castle's starting to play pretty good ball and throwing a ton of passes, we're really starting to see Gaffney get more involved, and as Randy Moss is starting to develop, that means that defenses are going to start playing to take Moss away. Welker's still getting a lot of catches too, and it just feels like there are going to be some games down the stretch here where Gaffney's going to end up being kind of the go-to receiver because defenses are going to take away the other guys to a great degree, especially Randy Moss. And Gaffney's not a half-bad player, so I like him. I think this is a good sneaky play, and not an every week starter, but somebody that would work out well. And should anything happen to Randy Moss down the stretch, well, then you've got the potential for a really good opportunity with Gaffney. All right, let's go to my first running back. This guy may or may not be available, Selvin Young. Young has the groin injury that's kept him in and out, basically out of lineup, so the better part of 2 months. They brought him back too early a few weeks ago, and he re-injured the groin, and now they're saying he could be ready as early as this weekend. And so an opportunity here, and they just have nobody else. Now, nobody likes Mike Shanahan runners less than me, right? The Dark Lord of Fantasy Football has been toying with us for years. However, Shanny doesn't have many choices, right? Patrick Hillis is a converted fullback. They really want to keep him in that role if they can. And P.J. Pope and Tatum Bell, clearly not the answer. If Selvin Young can play, he will get the majority of carries, and there's just nobody else to siphon him off. So for that reason, I think he can be valuable going forward. Hopefully the groin comes around, they don't rush him back, and that he's ready to go as early as this weekend. All right, my last guy is Jerome Harrison. He's the backup running back to Jamal Lewis in Cleveland. My thinking is this. First, he just looks so much more spry than Jamal Lewis does. And Jamal Lewis is great between the tackles, but there's so many other dimensions to being a good running back. Catching the ball where Harrison's better, running out wide where Harrison's better, and he's getting a real uptick in his usage. He's had more carries in the last 3 weeks than he had the entire rest of the season. And he's getting the usage. With Jamal Lewis, it just feels like he could wear down or get hurt at any moment. And I just like the fact that the Browns are trying to get Harrison more involved. And I wonder if at some point they don't also start wondering about next year and they give Harrison a long look to see whether or not he could be a capable starter for them, because you got to figure Jamal Lewis is at the very tail end of his career. And if nothing else, Jerome Harrison, a good insurance policy for Lewis. So that's a possibility as well. All right, so that's our three guys. Jabbar Gaffney, Selvin Young, Jerome Harrison. You can decide which of those three is appropriate for your squad and might give you a chance for a surprise start going forward in the future. Thanks for watching Charch Chat here at Open Sports.
So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.